Are Arsenal a stronger team with Thomas Partey in it? You could say yes, athletically robust, intelligent interception skills, a high range of different variety of passes and volume of such enhances the players around him. I mean, his nickname is the Octopus and he's a very good dribbler. At 31 years of age this year, he has been around the block, appeared in a Champions League final for his last club, Atletico Madrid. Currently, even though I think Mohamed Kudus one day will eclipse this, he is the most expensive Ghanaian player ever, which is a massive title to come from humble beginnings, if I'm completely honest with you. He's technically a Europa League winner and has a wealth of experience, transferable experience for this young, impressionable team that Mikel Arteta is developing. You could also say no for a few reasons. In terms of injuries, he's anything but consistently available. He's been reduced to just 12 appearances in all comps this season, which stands at just 10 in the Premier League, and has only played 449 minutes of Premier League football. Now, my maths is terrible. I barely scraped to C at GCSE level. So if I'm wrong, forgive me, and I could be talking nonsense. Mathematicians, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But if my math serves me correctly, people, that means he's assuming every game in the Premier League is 90 minutes. I know there's added on time, but if we assume every game is 90 minutes, people, that means there's been 3,060 minutes available at this moment in time of the 34 games played. He's only played 449 minutes of such. For a £45 million signing, it would be fair to say for some that is underwhelming. While he has played in the Champions League final for Arsenal Football Club, he has only played one game technically. And if you want to get even technical than that, it only came in the 4 minutes against Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals of the second leg, in which it was more or less done. Since 2020, when he signed for us, he's played 91 times in the Premier League. Sadly, availability is the best trait you can have for as much as you might be technically blessed. And Partey has played no real part on the pitch in our second title challenge this year for Arsenal Football Club. To be fair to him, there has to be a link between him being fit for 33 Premier League games last season, in brackets 40 in all comps, and us surprising the footballing community with a title push last season. Sadly, however, due to Partey's consistent injury woes between his hamstring and his thigh, Arteta has had to find solutions, which so far, with 34 Premier League games played and us sitting first in the table at the time of making this video, not that I checked the league table, it's fair to say Mikel Arteta has done such. In recent weeks, Thomas Partey has got minutes both against Chelsea, which was 70 odd, and he did also start against Luton, forgive me if I'm wrong, and he's been fit to some capacity to be in the matchday squad since we battered Sheffield United away from home. So there has been a bit of prolonged fitness from him. I would describe personally Thomas Partey as a big game player. However, being devil's advocate, people, looking at our near to perfect record versus the top six or general top six this season, Partey has been anything but involved. Take nothing away from, you go back to his cameo at the Emirates against Manchester City, and I think it's fair to also say he was fantastic against Chelsea at the Emirates in the game that has just gone at the time of making this video. So I guess you have to beg yourself, is the illusion of Thomas Partey and what he could do in the middle of the park individually and how that collectively ties into Arsenal and what Arteta wants, is the illusion of that better than the actual reality of what we face with Thomas Partey? I mean, to be fair to the other options in Arsenal's midfield, as I said, 34 games at the moment of making this video. We've done well. Everybody's played their part. I think it'd be fair to say that Odegaard is one piece of the puzzle in midfield. Declan Rice is another, but that other space, that one space that completes the three-man trio, it's anything but. Now, Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira, to be talking about them at lengths would be for another video, folks, if I'm very honest with you. But they've been on the peripheral things. Then you also got Kai Havertz, who is doing quite well up front for Arsenal Football Club, leading our line. In midfield, he did have a lot of struggles, and I think off the ball, Kai Havertz, he can do a thing. On the ball, it isn't Thomas Partey, and to be honest with you, it isn't what you really want to see in the middle of the park for Arsenal Football Club. Then you have Jorginho, which you wish was 10 years younger. He's great in the midfield. I'm being devil's advocate here and take nothing away from Jorginho's form, the fact that he's earned the right to start and the games he's done well in. But I genuinely think Jorginho has probably played more games than Mikel Arteta would have envisioned in August. And he kind of alludes to it in his press conferences. Again, I don't think because of Jorginho in the side, I think people haven't really spoken about the issues that we face in the middle of the park, really. If I'm completely honest, we need to sign a central midfielder in the summer for me personally. As much as I like Jorginho, and obviously he's a professional athlete, he's a Premier League footballer, and he's got the experience and the trophy cabinet to match. So obviously he's athletic. But in comparison to his teammates, and obviously for this video, Thomas Partey, forgive me, but I personally think because he's not the most agile of player, Odegaard, to a degree, who has a very complicated role in Arteta's system, has to probably overcompensate his game a tiny bit. And that goes for a number of players just to hide that deficiency. Now, obviously in football, you hide certain players' deficiencies, you enhance their strengths, and that goes for everybody else. But if I'm honest, it looks like Declan Rice and Odegaard's eyes light up when Thomas Partey steps onto the field. It seems like he's almost like a glue that connects midfield to attack and obviously defensive elements. And it seems like indirectly other players can gamble, like Martin Odegaard, you would have seen for that fantastic pass against Chelsea. He can gamble even more knowing that he's got two monsters in both Declan Rice and Partey. Thank the Lord for signing Declan Rice, if I'm completely honest with you, because we might be looking at this under a different lens. I do think generally us Arsenal fans, we probably need to get away from, getting stuck upon an 8 and a 6. I do think Arteta will have two midfield generals who kind of do a bit of both. And when you see Declan Rice in that left-sided midfield role, and obviously Partey in the 6 to the right of him, they're both operating in certain maneuvers in certain aspects of that. And I think with them two behind Martin Odegaard, he's able to do obviously what Mikel Arteta demands of him, but also able to do what's got Martin Odegaard to this point of, being a professional footballer and the many gifts that Odegaard has. Let's not get stuck up on Odegaard though, people, because again, we'd be here all day. But in short, he'd get to be a free spirit roaming around and creating chances and doing what he does, if I'm completely honest with you guys. I mean, when you look at Rice, Odegaard and Partey as a trio, I think it provides the balance. It's like thunder, lightning, and snow, if I'm honest with you. It has everything. It's got the robustness, the passing range, the defensive know-how, the technical level. And it's a bit crazy how we're fighting for a league title without, on paper, what would probably be our first choice midfield. We would have seen in the Community Shield, we got a glimpse of what could have been. Thomas Partey is a great player. As I said earlier, he reminded everybody of such with his game against Chelsea, which again was his second start in only 8 months. In conclusion, the quality can never be in question regarding Thomas Partey. He's truly a quality player. It's the extra baggage that has us Arsenal fans raising questions. If I paint the example for you lot of a luxury car, imagine you've got a Bentley or whatever you guys desire. A Bentley cannot be that fun to drive if it breaks down every couple of miles. Added to that, Thomas Partey, him being a Bentley for the purposes of this video, is contracted until 2025. Is it a luxury? Again, if you're, you can see where I'm going with this, if I'm honest with you. And if I told you to add on with that example, to go back to the car, if I told you were still making payments on it, you would argue, that it's not really the best of deals at this moment in time. Now, if we extend that example even more, people, and what if I asked you for your time on how you've dealt with this car and the moments that you've had? You tell me you've probably had some great drives, some memorable drives, but all in all, the deal that you used to get this car was not what you were coming to expect. If given the chance, would you terminate that very agreement? I would say, you probably would. So that's just some food for thought. I say the word upgrade on Thomas Partey very lightly, but if you could get, quote unquote, a suitable replacement, we've been linked with Bruno Guimaraes, Zubimendi, Douglas Luiz, all very different to Partey in their own unique ways. But if we just focus on the central midfielder, if you could get a replacement to a suitable level of Thomas Partey and also be able to shift an aging player off the wage bill, and again, someone who you can't really bet on his fitness or you're not surprised if he's fit. Would you jump at the chance to do that? Or better yet, would that be a bad thing? We can also not downplay the aspect of Partey could very much be comfortable at Arsenal Football Club, which I imagine he is, and also off the field in line with his lifestyle and his family arrangements, etc., etc. With him turning 31 this year, he might, want stability and to run down his contract and to assess his options when that time comes. There have been rumors, people, that he has an asking price of 25 million. If that is met, or if Arsenal's presented with an offer with everything we know about Partey, would you accept that? Would Arsenal accept that? I can't say yes, I can't say no. You could also caveat and say, despite all of that, how far does 25 million go to replacing Thomas Partey? If we obviously disregard that there will be injected funds for Mikel Arteta and Edu to play around with when the summer comes. Is it cheaper to keep him and bring in one central midfielder versus two, potentially, which I believe we need? I'm not sure. I do also wonder what our side would have looked like without the injuries to Thomas Partey and Timber, both in all phases of the game, defensively, offensively, and actually the middle third. I guess these are questions you, anybody listening, or me making this video can't really answer, and can't really answer with any definitive chest, if I'm really honest with you. These are questions only the manager can answer. That being said, let me know your thoughts on Thomas Partey, what you would do. Do you think he's a stronger candidate in that midfield role than the existing options? Are we a better team once again with Thomas Partey in the side? As I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Appreciative to you lot getting to the end of the video. Check out the videos in the end screen. Peace.